The third installment of the state capture report has been released, and it's been handed over to the president. A couple of big names, though, being dropped into this, naming of individuals, but also the naming of Bosasa as well. Dr. Ralph Mathekga, political analyst, joining us this morning. Morning to you, Ralph. Always good to have you on. So we're talking about kickbacks and names being dropped as well, and no real surprise when we hear that the former president, Jacob Zuma, and Gwede Mantashe are not happy about this. What's your reaction been so far to this third installment?
Good morning, Gareth, and good morning to the viewers at home. Good to be chatting to you, as always. I think that this report, it goes further. I mean, Gareth, we've known these suspicions. Those have been covered in the media on this platform. Allegations have come far back regarding how Bosasa has almost compromised the entire ANC, or almost had the entire ANC singing to the tune of the company. We have all known about that, but what I think goes a little bit further here is the recommendation by the Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo here, where he's recommending further inquiry that could lead to prosecution. And I think this is where I think the challenge is, where it does not leave any discretion to the ANC. And I hope that members of the ANC, senior members of the ANC, can understand that as much as this issue has got political implication within their own party, it is also a law and order matter. When you start talking about prosecution, you are talking about the involvement of state institutions. And this recommendation does not actually give anyone the discretion to deviate from this type of recommendation. I mean, even if you go back, Gareth, you try to review the report, the NPA acting in goodwill, they could still find a probable cause to investigate, and they should try to do investigations as recommended.
Yeah, that's right. And whether or not people agree that the State Capture Commission report is worth the paper that it's written on, the former president doesn't seem to think so, Ralph. In the end, the attention now going from the acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo straight to the first citizen of the country. I imagine there's a very high expectation the president is going to have to take some kind of action off the back of these recommendations. The question is, though, do you think the current president will do anything about it?
I mean, it's going to be very difficult for the current president, Gareth, to walk away from this report. I mean, of course, it is biting into his political base as well. And I think that the impact is that the ANC is going to be more and more divided. You are going to have multiple divisions instead of the main two factions that we've known about so far. And I think that what that says is that with a report such as this, the president, who built his presidency on anti-corruption, Gareth, there. And I think that this actually says that he has to be seen supporting this report. He has to be seen promising to do something about it. And already, his comrades have already spoken about going to challenge the report. I mean, Mr. Mantashe gave a press conference yesterday where he said he's going to review the report. But the president just does not have that kind of a discretion. All he has to do now is to actually be seen supporting the report and saying that they will implement what is being recommended in the report. There is no other way. Any deviation from this will warrant an explanation, Gareth.
It will warrant explanations, in fact, lots of them, Ralph. I'll leave this as my last question to you, though. It is going to be a complicated year. The ANC dropping numbers in the last government elections. Now it's an ANC elective year, and we know how much you have to walk around on eggshells as the leader of the ANC in an elective year. Could that influence the way the president of the ANC now, if he wears his ANC presidency hat, how he handles the capture report in an ANC elective year? It could see him not being back.
I think, Gareth, that is the biggest consideration. I mean, let's be realistic about what this report does. I mean, it cuts across factions. It goes into what I call maybe some of the people who were seen as allies of the president. And what about those that are not implicated in this report? There are people within the ANC who are not implicated here. And I want to believe that they themselves will have political ambitions. How will they feel if there are no consequences with regard to those that are implicated? And when you start calculating and you look at it, it comes down to the formula that says if you are at the political center now, the consequences will be less severe if you were on the outskirts or if you were out of power within the ANC. So reluctantly, ANC, for whatever motives, some might be doing it for sinister motives, but I think among senior members of the ANC, they will demand justice. I mean, there are members of the party who are not implicated, and they would want to see those that are implicated being met with consequences here. So it is going to destabilize the party further. And I think that the president who is seeking re-election, he couldn't head to re-election with a destabilized party here. I mean, he has to meet consequences against people who, some are implicated in the second report. Let's not forget, Gareth, this is the third installment. And if you look at that, the president is going to have a problem within his political base. So what that means is that they will be watching, his detractors will be watching to say, we have spoken about the step aside. We want to see this thing happening. And if you are not doing this, if you are not speaking about the principles of the report, you are not defending it this time, it shows that the whole thing is a political charade.
Yeah, it's a support power base. It's a factional support power base as well, which we're all going to have to watch very, very closely. Dr. Ralph Mathekga, fantastic analysis as always.